into the universe is like taking a trip down memory lane. The farther from Earth we look, the farther back in time we see. The farther back in time we see.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 77 of the most must-see show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves, or any airwaves, for that matter, The Wrestling Connection. I'm your host, as always, your connection to the wrestling world, the divine, Mr. Ken Hill, at your service.
You're struggling through your name there a little bit, buddy. You okay? You know who you are today?
I'm doing.
Did you have your nap?
Yes, I had a nice long nap before work.
Okay, good.
Okay. Anyway, as you've noticed in recent weeks, my good friends and co-hosts, Mr. J, Julian Warren, and Madwell Zach Martinkus, have been more or less absent from the show. They've been gone, but they're not forgotten. However, we here at the Wrestling Connection must maintain consistency, we must move on, and we must press on in the absence of my two faithful co-hosts. Now, however, since Julian was the current WK King of Pay-Per-View champion, since he's not here for this particular pay-per-preview to defend his King of Pay-Per-View championship, it's sad to say, it's with a heavy heart that I unfortunately have to relinquish Julian of the King of Pay-Per-View Championship, and a new champion will be determined this Sunday between myself, Mr. Brian Dorrington Jr., and Mr. I Want My Printer, Greg Dolan.
Printer loves me too.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah, and a motherboard's eye. Okay, so anyway, like I said, it's the pay-per-preview for the 2015 SummerSlam Spectacular, which has been pushed to a whopping 4 hours. That's right, gentlemen. We're on a WrestleMania level pay-per-view here. It's a big pay-per-view. We've got a ton of matches to go through. Try to get each and every one of them as quick as I can, and we got a special attraction match to add a little spice to this SummerSlam party. Anyway, though, we kick things off with a a sort of grudge match, sort of a oddball comic book grudge match of sorts, with the famed Stephen Amell, aka Green Arrow, versus the Master of the Red Arrow, Neville, versus the Prince of Dark Matter, Stardust, and the newly dubbed Cosmic King, King Barrett, otherwise known as the Cosmic Kings. Oh yeah, they're out there, all right. Anyway, this all came about because Stardust decided that he was not just a regular wrestling villain, but a supervillain. And as we're very good supervillain, there must be a superhero. And Stardust had been long searching for that. First, he initially thought Neville could be his hero. When that wasn't the case, he started reaching outside WWE to the Green Arrow himself, Stephen Amell. However, we know how delusional Stardust can be. He actually deluded himself into thinking that Amell is actually the Green Arrow and not just an actor. And that's where this whole thing ballooned out of control. Amell recently guest starred on an episode of Raw. Stardust got in his face, gave him the old pie face. Amell jumps in the ring, punches are thrown, and it seems like Amell is about to be carted away by WWE security, only for Amell to demand that a match with Stardust as revenge. Triple H went through the whole hold harmless agreements. Amell didn't care. He just wanted the match signed. Neville decided to join Amell. Barrett was thrown in the mix alongside Stardust, and we have your tag team match. Now, I appreciate that they're trying to kind of like wedge Barrett in here with Stardust. They're trying to take the King gimmick to a different level. However, I think all of us would have been just content with Barrett just going back to his bad news Barrett gimmick. I don't know if this is a one-time thing. We don't know if Stardust and Barrett the Cosmic King will remain a tag team after this. But like I said, I would personally rather see Barrett back in his delivering bad news gimmick. As it is, I mean, this is more or less a no-brainer here. I mean, you got a big-time celebrity on here. Amel's known to be highly athletic and competitive, so we can at least see a credible, fun match with likely Amel getting like a pinning Stardust after like a high cross body, or Neville getting the pin on Barrett with the Red Arrow. Because let's face facts, Barrett's kind of the low man on the totem pole in this tag team match, and when you're lower than a non-WWE competitor, then you know you've hit rock bottom. So I'm going with the arrows, the green and red arrow, to take this one. Mr. Dorrington Jr., what's your pick for this match?
Well, I agree with you on this one. I can see how the match plays out. It's probably only going to be about 4 or 5 minutes long. You're going to see Neville start off. They're going to keep teasing that Stephen Amell is going to get tagged in. He's finally going to come in with a hot tag. He's going to start hammering both of them, and then eventually I do see him pinning Stardust probably around the 4-5 minute mark. So it's going to be a short match. It's going to be fun to see how an actor does in the ring with real professional wrestlers. But yeah, I'm going with Amell and Neville on this one.
All right, and of course we come to the prince of baffling logic himself, Mr. Greg Dolan. Mr. Dolan, impart some of your wisdom onto us for this match.
All right, so for SummerSlam, what I'm going with is the birth date closest to the summer solstice. So through my research, born on May 8th, that would be Steve Amell. So his team will win.
All right, so it's right across the board. Amell.
That's actually not bad logic, especially if you believe in astrology.
Yeah, well,
like
which
I don't.
But
Yeah,
neither do I. But hey,
yeah,
some people love it.
Okay, I mean, it's Greg's logic. So let's just take it with a grain of salt, or a salt shaker. All right. So moving on to the first championship match of the evening, we have a fatal four-way match for the WWE Tag Team titles. We have the champions, the Primetime Players, defending against Los Matadors, the former champions New Day, and the hot newcomers, the Lucha Dragons. Now, I'm not saying the Primetime Players haven't been on a roll as tag team champions. They have. They've been entertaining. They've been funny, especially on commentary, every other week or so. And it's not that they haven't been competitive. They've been fighting champions. However, they just don't have that spark to them. They don't have this kind of spark that you see in New Day, who's really taken to their smarmy, cocky, over-the-top heel shtick really, really well. And in the crowd, you can see week after week, the crowd really gets into the swing of things with New Day. I mean, you even start seeing some of the people actually going, New Day rocks, instead of the typical New Day sucks. So, I mean, they're kind of getting into things here. And I think there's more to be said and more to be gained from the New Day holding the tag team titles. Because, I mean, as you can see here, you got 3 face tag teams and 1 heel tag team. That certainly opens a lot more possibilities if you have the heels as the champions rather than the challengers. So that's why I'm going to go with a New Day. I think they're going to steal a win, pinning one of the Matadors to win the tag team titles. I mean, I see maybe them feuding with Lucha Dragons down the line, then coming back to the Primetime Players, where I think it will culminate much like the first ever tag team title elimination chamber. We could very well see the first tag team title Hell in a Cell match. But that's getting ahead of myself. We're at SummerSlam right now, not October. So right now, I'm going to go with the New Day to be new 2-time tag team champs. All right, Brian. Fatal 4-way action. What's your pick?
Well, you're spot on again so far. Let's see how long this one lasts. Probably not too long. But yeah, you're spot on. The New Day, they do the heel thing great, and they have the equalizer in numbers. You know, so
Right.
I think I'm going to go with the New Day in a clear and decisive victory. Obviously, there's going to be some shenanigans, but
Oh no, that's a given. I mean, I think it, like I said, it's lazy WWE booking, just throwing all these tag teams together in a big mess. But I mean, it's SummerSlam. It's the second biggest pay-per-view. You gotta go big or don't go big at all with these pay-per-views. So I'm not really surprised that they just said, "Oh, hey, let's throw all these tag teams together in a big pot. See what we get."
I just don't get the Lucha Dragons and the Los Matadors. I mean, I don't like the Ascension, but throw them in instead of Los Matadors. You know, mix it up just a little bit
I mean,
style-wise.
yeah, because the Los Matadores shouldn't be anywhere near the tag team titles. I mean, the Ascension would at least look like a credible threat. Has anyone ever taken the Los Matadores seriously in a tag team title feud?
Besides Greg Dolan when he picked them a few pay-per-views ago, no.
That's just like your opinion.
I almost forgot about that. Okay. Oh, speaking of Mr. Dolan, gonna make a little repeat
So this
pick
one's
there,
a little
Greg.
complicated because I didn't want to look up everyone's birthday. You know?
Greg, turn your mic on.
My mic's on. Hey, Ken. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right. So this one was hard because I didn't want to look up everyone's birthday because I don't care that much. So I went with New Day because I don't know. They have the word day in there, and I was looking up birthdays, so I'm going to go with the New Day.
Wow. Okay. Moving on there. All right. We come to our second title match of the night, a triple threat. Oh man, they've been going with a multi-man. They're going hog wild with the multi-man matches here. We've got the Intercontinental Champion Ryback defending in a triple threat match versus the Hollywood starlet, The Miz, and the world's largest athlete, The Big Show. Got the pick there? There we go. All right, now Ryback, having recently returned from a staph infection, this is his first official title defense. That more or less tells me that he's going to retain right here because, I mean, they've made a semi-big deal putting the belt on Ryback. He's been getting better and better crowd reactions. He's starting to slowly regain the following that he first had when he first burst onto the scene in WWE. I mean, Miz is entertaining for what he is, kind of just being the smarmy Hollywood heel. Big Show's just been there as the stalwart veteran who's just like, he feels like he's too big for all of this. He just feels like he's too big for all this nonsense. He can't stand Miz. He at least respects Ryback for his strength, but he just wants to do his business, walk in, KO Miz, KO Ryback, and walk out a two-time Intercontinental Champion. Who could blame him? But like I said, I mean, this is Ryback's first official defense after coming back from the staph infection. It makes little to no sense to have him lose on his first major title defense. So what I'm thinking is Ryback pins Miz, steamrolls through Miz, and then that leaves Ryback and Big Show to have their eventual rematch and hopefully the blow off to this feud at Night of Champions. So my pick for the triple threat will be Ryback. All right, Brian. Pick one more. Pick one more.
I like these little chants you got going. They're nice.
Thank you.
You know, I'm going to go with The Miz on this one. I know we talked before that they've been teasing that, you know, Big Show and Ryback cancel it out, so that way it might not happen because it might be too predictable. But the WWE goes predictable often, so, you know, I'm going to think that Ryback and Big Show are probably going to knock each other out or something, and The Miz is going to take advantage and pin one of them. I think it's going to be a cheap victory, but I think the Miz is going to win.
Yeah, I mean, and even if he wins, I just imagine it's going to be like one of those 1 week, 2 week title reigns, and Ryback just wins it back in short fashion because
Exactly.
I just don't see Miz as a credible champion at this point. Even like a second tier champion just doesn't work for me. Tag team champion, yes. Intercontinental or U.S. champion, no. I just can't buy it at this point. All right, Mr. Dolan, what's your pick for this three-way
All right.
dance?
So I got some birthdays to report for you. The first is The Big Show, who was born in February, very, very far from Summer. Ryback in November, and The Miz in October, which makes me decide that.
Well, it's the big show. Yes, it's a big fat show tonight. Yeah, it's the big show. Come on, crank it up and turn on all the lights, y'all. Well, get ready for something good.
Thank you.
So yeah, you just gotta know it's either birthdays or, you know, well.
Well, just the fact that
Birthdays are big.
Well, it's the big show.
yeah, let's just play this for the next 40 minutes. Why don't we? Yeah, no.
Yes, it's a
Sorry, I missed the sarcasm there.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why I even asked this. I mean seriously. We have the charter member of the Big Show fan club right here. Why did I even ask?
Do you know why I did? You know what Somerville?
Ay.
SummerSlam. Would I consider it?
Oh, okay, okay, Jeremy Piven.
well, it's the big show.
I think it's even bigger than WrestleMania. I think it's the
Yeah.
big show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the. Oh, I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
it.
I almost thought he was going to pick against him this time. He really set us up to thinking he was going to go with the Miz with the October birthday.
I just know it's not a
He
big
got
match.
us both of that one. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's like the Haley's Common of practical jokes. We probably won't expect another good one for 87 years. Okay.
All right, moving on.
Moving on, because we got about half a dozen or so more matches to get through here. Okay, so now we come up.
Well,
Okay, we come to another grudge match with Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Now, of all the feuds that I wanted to see, this was not one of them. Okay, I mean, Orton and Sheamus were both going along fine in 2015. Orton was having had a pretty decent feud with Seth Rollins. Sheamus had come back as a roaring Irish bully of a heel. He won the Money in the Bank a couple of months ago. Seemed like all was well and good, and then to decide, oh, let's just put these two together, have them beat each other up, and see what happens. That's all well and good. That works for some feuds, but the problem is, Sheamus and Orton have no chemistry. They didn't have chemistry back in 2010. They didn't have chemistry in 2012, and they sure as heck don't have chemistry in 2015. And yet, for some reason, WWE keeps putting these two together, expecting a barn burner, show-stealing match, and we haven't gotten that yet. I mean, is it literally going to take 1,000 matches between these two to realize, okay, they just don't fit. Their styles are too similar. Their ring psychology is too similar. It just doesn't work. I mean, that being said, I understand that WWE's mindset with Money in the Bank winners is to make them look as inhumanely weak as possible so that the cash-ins come as a huge shock. But, I mean, we've got enough of that. I mean, with Damian Sandow, with Seth Rollins, with Daniel Bryan, we need a credible Money in the Bank winner this time. Someone that looks like a half-decent threat to the WWE World Champion. So, I mean, God forbid we're probably going to see a third match here between Sheamus and Orton. So, since Orton won last month, I mean, basic logic dictates that Sheamus is going to take it here. That's why I'm going to go. That's why I'm going to go with Sheamus. I mean, I know about the rumors about the main event with him cashing in, but I just think that Sheamus has to go over here. I mean, otherwise, it's just been a very bad booking of a Money in the Bank winner and former world champion in Sheamus. So I'm going with Sheamus. I probably imagine some shenanigans will happen here, but I'm going with the Celtic Brawler. All right, Mr. Dorrington, wow me.
Yeah, I'm going with Sheamus too, and like you, and like most real wrestling fans, this is a boring match. They're the same person. It's like wrestling yourself. You just can't do it well. But I think that this is the match that the average fan likes, and that the kids like. Kids love Randy Orton still. They've always loved Randy Orton and John Cena. forever. So they're going to love seeing him beat up on, you know, even if he loses, they're going to like to see him in his moments beat up on the big bad heel right now, who everybody hates is Sheamus. So this is, you know, the match for the casual fan who won't be looking at the technical aspects and stuff of wrestling.
Exactly. This is pretty much like your blueprint WWE main event type match, more or less.
Right, right. With that said, I'm going with Sheamus.
Okay, and going with, well, the original. There is no blueprint for this man. Greg Dolan.
All right, so I'm really excited about this match. I think it's going to be technically the best match of the night. Sheamus born on January 28th and Randy Orton born on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, which made me think that maybe I shouldn't pick him, but you know what? I think the adult crowd really likes Randy Orton and the kids really like Sheamus, so I'm going to go with Randy Orton.
Well, you kind of got that backwards. The kids like Randy Orton and the adults like Sheamus.
I watch a lot more wrestling than you guys, so.
Yeah, Mr. Space Logic.
Bro.
Yeah, Mr. Space Kittens right there. Okay, yeah. Sounds like a challenge. All right, so we got, Greg's going with Orton, Brian and I are going with Sheamus. Let's see, we'll see how that pans out. This is kind of like the crux right here. This is the middle, kind of like the middle of the pay-per-view right here. All right, now we come to the continuation of what's called the Divas Revolution. Started here not by Paige, but of course Stephanie McMahon, because of course McMahons have to be responsible for everything. God forbid someone outside the family starts something big. All right, so anyway, we have a 9-diva elimination match. 3 teams. Of course, we have Team PCB, which still sounds like something you'd find in the government waste dump. We have Team Bad, Beautiful and Dangerous, with NXT champion Sasha Banks. You can tell she's champion because she's never won her championship once on WWE television. Tamina Snuka and Naomi. And of course, we have Team Bella with Brie, the Divas champion Nikki Bella, and Alicia, the undefined Divas champion Alicia Fox. Now, there hasn't really been any rhyme or reason. We've gotten certainly improvement in terms of the quality and quantity of Divas matches in the last few weeks. However, we haven't really had sort of like a solid direction for any of the Divas. We've had Divas like Charlotte and Becky Lynch pick up big wins over the Divas champion Nikki Bella, and as well as Sasha Banks. So it's clear that the Team Bella is on the ropes here. They haven't had a concrete victory over either Team Bad or Team PCB. I still can't say that name with a bad taste in my mouth. Anyway, Night of Champions is coming up next month. We kind of need a contender to Nikki Bella's Divas Championship. That's why I'm thinking it's either going to come down to Team PCB or Team Bad picking up the win over Team Bella, likely with the Divas Champion herself getting pinned, opening up the door for one of the 6 Divas to challenge Nikki for the Divas title. Now, which Diva will that be? I'm not sure. Paige has pretty much been there, done that. She spearheaded Team PCB, but she really hasn't had much success against the Bellas regardless. Both Charlotte and Becky Lynch have had victories over Nikki, and I think what would be a great first defense for Nikki in this whole Divas Revolution is against Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte is like a natural opponent for Nikki. She's bred for wrestling. Of course, the daughter of the 16-time world champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair. I think Charlotte would be a natural opponent for Nikki Bella at Night of Champions, which is why I believe that Team PCB will win the match when Charlotte pins Nikki to win the match after Team Bad has been eliminated. So I'm going with Team PCB for this one. All right. We got 9 beautiful and dangerous divas. Brian, take your pick.
9, that's right. I'm glad what they're trying to do here by bringing the Divas division back, but I think 9 is just too many. they brought up too many at one time. They haven't really been able to stand out as individual wrestlers. We just see them in groups, the 3 groups, Team Bad, Team PCB, and the Bellas. Nobody really stands out except for, you know, people know Paige and Nikki from before. So those are really the only 2 that stand out. I think Charlotte has the chance to, you know, really stand out and probably win the next champs. But in this fight, I just think the Bellas have been getting beaten up way too much, and I don't think that the WWE's given up completely on them. So I think that they're going to come out here, and I think they're going to shock everybody, and I think they're going to get the win. After all, Nikki still has the belt. She's coming in on holding the record. So I really don't think that they've given up on the Bellas, and I think they're going to take this one.
Yeah, I see your point there, but considering that the Bellas have been more or less running roughshod over WWE for the better part of 2015, it's only recently that, okay, things have been coming undone for them. They say they appreciate the competition, but so far the competition's, like you said, it's been stomping all over them. So recently I could see them coming on top here, but I could just as easily see Nikki like barely eking out a victory over Becky Lynch or Charlotte or Sasha, whoever ends up challenging her at Night of Champions. So, I mean, that's my logic for why I think Team PCB will win. Whoever gets the pin on Nikki, which is the likely scenario, I see them being the one to challenge Nikki at Night of Champions next month. That's just my take. All right, Mr. Dolan, the ladies connoisseur, the ladies man, what is your pick?
So I was doing some research, and I found out that the Bellas are born in the heart of winter, but since they're twins, that their birthdays cancel each other out, and so that they're born in the summer. So I'm going with the Bellas.
That's right, I forgot about that. Twins' birthdays always cancel each other out.
That's how it works.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how it works. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, now we come to what's been a big time grudge match. We have Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. Now, I'm going to say this right here. This is my favorite match of the night.
Well,
and we know what Greg's favorite match of the night is going to be.
Not with that one. I'm with you. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most.
These are 2 of the most underrated talents on the WWE roster right now. We've both seen them put on like 4 5-star matches with John Cena over the U.S. title in recent months. Cesaro coming off a huge win over Rusev on SmackDown. John Cena being the only other man to have pinned Rusev in his WWE career. So the fact is, Cesaro has been on a major role. Of course, Owens has made his impact. He pinned John Cena in his first pay-per-view match in WWE. So there's nothing to take away from either man here. That being said, I would feel that much better if this was involving the U.S. Championship and the winner going on to face Seth Rollins. But again, that's just my take on this. It is what it is. I can't argue with this because when we've seen these 2 in multi-man matches with like we saw with them and Rusev a few weeks back, it was an excellent match. These 2, we've seen these 2 have excellent chemistry with each other in the ring. They flow off of each other so well. I think this is going to be a fantastic match. I honestly believe it's going to be the match of the night. I'm thinking 4.5 stars. I mean, like I said, like Brian said, I can't wait for this match. This is going to be the show-stealing match of the night. With all respect to Dolph Ziggler. Now, as to who I decide here, that's kind of a toughie right here because both men could really use a victory right here. Owens coming off of a kind of a failed feud with John Cena. Cesaro has been kind of on the rise lately. He's been kind of fluctuating in the last couple of weeks. Like I say, victories over Rusev. He's had tag team victories. He actually got a tag team victory over Kevin Owens. But really, I mean, this is the first true blue one-on-one match these 2 have had. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. This is a tough one. I think this is the toughest pick tonight. I'm gonna go with Cesaro. I'm gonna go with Cesaro.
You changed your pick, you know.
Oh, I did change my. Oh, I picked Owens. I originally picked Owens.
Oh no, sorry, you're right. You're right. That was my bad.
Okay, I guess. Well, I can understand. I mean, I was really waffling on this pick before, but ultimately I'm going with Cesaro. I think WWE's finally getting behind him. I think he's definitely getting some steam, and I think the next time that down the line, eventually, if he does ever challenge whoever comes on top of the U.S. title, I think he's gonna get one of the biggest victories of his career. And I'm not saying this won't be, but down the line, I think there are bigger and better things in store for Cesaro. So I'm going to go with the Swiss Superman, the king of swing, Cesaro, in what I think will be a very grueling, hard-hitting contest. All right, Brian, give us your pick, man.
Yeah, well, so far, every single match is being considered as the match of the year has either had one, two, or both of these guys in it. When you think about all the great matches that happened this year, and they've been involved in probably the best.
Exactly. I mean, we had, like I said, we had the triple threat match with them and Rusev. I mean, we had Owens versus Cena, the trilogy. We had Cesaro's trilogy. We had Cesaro's trilogy of matches with John Cena. They've been excellent matches.
Those are the exact ones I'm thinking of.
I mean, Cena can honestly say that these gentlemen have brought the best out of him. Not that he's brought the best out of Rusev and Owens. That can't be denied. But they've also forced Cena to improve his offense, to come up with a new repertoire rather than just his basic 5-6 moves. We've seen.
And I think these guys are both getting a much-deserved and earned push. I think that Owens can afford a loss here simply because he's fighting the previous night. You know, he's fighting, for the NXT Championship, and I think he'll win that, but that's going to come later. But they're fighting for that, and he has an excuse. He just fought the night before. They even might make up like a storyline injury, like he got injured. He's not 100%, so I think he can afford a loss here. So I'm going with Cesaro on the victory.
No, that's actually a very good point, and we'll elaborate on the NXT title match a little later on near the end of the episode. All right, Greg, what's your fun little birthday logic for this one?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that I think that these guys are due for a good match. They've kind of been lackluster all year. I haven't really seen too much out of them in my scouting. So Cesaro was born in December, and Kevin Owens is born in May. So I'm going to go with Kevin Owens as my lock of the night. He's due for a good match. Like I said, he's been disappointing. Same with Cesaro. I think it's going to be a snooze fest, but I think Owens wins in the end.
Oh, you could just feel all the.
I don't think he likes us.
I could just feel the love there. I could feel it emanating through the window. Okay, so now we come to another grudge match that's been building for some time, which thankfully should just culminate right here at SummerSlam, is Lana versus Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, did I have a photo for that, or is it?
I don't see that slide here.
Really? Oh, I thought I sent it to you. I was sure it was in
there.
Which
match is this?
Oh, I'll put up this one instead.
Oh, great. Queen Elizabeth. Thank you an angry Queen Elizabeth.
Is that
Ryback? God save us from the Queen. And all that.
Like Ken's wearing a big hat. Much better.
Okay. Yes, much better. Jolly good. Okay, so anyway, Ziggler and Rusev came about when Lana was on the outs with Rusev. She felt like he was just treating her like an object, like a piece of meat. She pretty much cast him to the side. She was done being mistreated like a second-class citizen. Pretty much broke up with him on air. Went out and just, more or less kissed the first guy that she came across on air, which happened to be Dolph Ziggler. Of course, that brought him into something more rather than just Lana using Ziggler to make Rusev jealous. Lana decided developing an attachment to Ziggler. They eventually announced their relationship for everyone to see, and Rusev decided to compensate, or obsess is more like it, by hooking up with Summer Rae, who he ended up dressing to look like Lana. I mean, the resemblance is uncanny, and it's obvious that Rusev has had the hardest time getting past Lana leaving him for Ziggler. Now, of course, this would result in that came out of nowhere. It resulted in Rusev assaulting Ziggler with a crutch to the throat, causing severe trachea bruising for Ziggler, putting out for several weeks. During this time, Rusev and Summer Rae just took extreme pleasure in tormenting Lana every chance they got. Eventually, Lana had enough, stood up to both Rusev and Summer Rae, or...
Is that Angie? What was that?
I have no idea.
That wasn't us.
That wasn't me. That was not her.
That wasn't us.
I'm
Wasn't
sure.
me.
Greg, you got that cat in the canary look. We know it was you.
Just hope it doesn't happen
I think
again.
I figured out I know who
It better
was.
not.
Well,
That better not happen again either.
Quiet down, show.
Don't make me come in there. Don't make me send her in there. Uh-oh. Okay, so like I said, Lana finally stood up to Rusev and Summer Rae. Ziggler made his triumphant return. Lana laying out Summer Rae with a super kick. Ziggler doing the same to Rusev. And we eventually had the match made. Ziggler versus Rusev for SummerSlam. Now, I mean, I think purely just coming off of the pop that Ziggler got this past... Exactly. This Monday, that I believe he's going to pick up the victory here. I think this is kind of like the sleeper match of the night. I don't think a lot of people are giving credit to this match just because of how the storyline's been built up. But these are two very credible wrestlers. They have great talent. Rusev and Ziggler. I mean, Rusev doesn't really need a victory right here. Ziggler is coming back from his injury, and so frankly, I mean, this is really a do-nothing match for either of them. Neither man has really anything to gain or lose here, so it's more or less a coin toss. And I'm going to go with Ziggler to pick up the win. All right, Mr. Brian Dorrington Jr., what's your pick?
Yeah, so it's actually the women that are... Sorry about that. It's actually the women that are carrying this feud. You know, it
Pretty
seems
much.
like it seems like Rusev and Ziggler are secondary, especially Ziggler. The guy's been off filming a movie for a few months. We've barely seen him. So for me, this is a toss-up. I think both guys could use a win, but a win's not going to hurt. But a loss isn't going to hurt either of them anyway. They're sort of at that point in their careers and at that point in the card too. This is probably going to be like the mid-carder match.
Right.
But so I'm going to go with Rusev. Could be a close match. Could go either way.
Yeah,
I just like Rusev.
I mean, I know I picked Ziggler to win this. I mean, frankly, like I said, it could be either or. Ziggler could just win this straight up clean, or I could see like Lana. For some reason, I mean, all the dirt sheets, all I've been talking about is supposedly this being an opportunity for Lana to make a heel turn and go back to Rusev, because it seems like the best time either have had was when Rusev and Lana were an item not just off air but on air. It seems like they had better chemistry. Rusev and Summer make like a decent comedy pair, but it just hasn't really clicked with the WWE audience. So like I said, I'm fine with I'm picking Ziggler, like I said, because it's a toss-up. I mean, I'll be fine with either one. I'm just thinking it's more likely Ziggler is going to come out on top here. All right, so oh god, here comes the birthday boy, Mr. Greg Dolan.
All right. So I've been really impressed with Ziggler's commitment to wrestling lately, but I think that a loss would really hurt either one of these guys a lot. I think it would really destroy their career. And just looking at their birthdays, it looks like Ziggler was born on July 27th, and Rusev, according to the internet, which is definitely true, he was born on Christmas Day, which is pretty deep into the winter. So I think Ziggler's going to win by quite a bit, and I think it's really a testament to his work ethic and commitment to the WWE.
How do you win by quite a bit, Greg?
You got a 4 count.
Do they have 4 counts?
Well, I know King Kong Bundy got a 5 count, but never heard of a 4 count before.
Get ready.
See if he's right.
I mean, there's there's a 4 head, but I've never heard of a 4 count. Yeah, that's from the Jerry the King Lawler joke book right there. Thank you. Well, we've been overdue for a rim shot for some time now. Okay. So yeah, like I said, that's a throwaway feud for me. I mean, I'm frankly hoping that's the blow off an entire feud. It doesn't need to go any longer. Like I said, the women have more or less been holding it up, more or less until Ziggler made his return. So frankly, like I said, I hope this is just a one-off match and we don't see these two feud again. Because, I mean, like I said, they're credible wrestlers, but just as far as building a storyline, they could do a heck of a lot better. All right, so we come to the first of 3 main events. We have the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, versus the remnants of the Shield, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Now, this has been brewing for some time. I mean, obviously, we remember harking back to the days of the Shield and the Wyatts feuding in early 2014. Who could forget that? It was one of the top feuds of the year. People couldn't get enough of it. And it seems like it's been revisited here with Wyatt going after Roman Reigns, feeling like that Roman has taken Bray's spot among the top in WWE, that he doesn't deserve to be there. Of course, him saying week after week, anyone but you, Roman. Anyone but you. I mean, Roman's taking offense to that. His brother in arms, Dean Ambrose, has taken offense to that. Of course, Luke Harper made his return at WWE Battlegrounds, and realigned himself with the Wyatt family, with Bray Wyatt. So now we've got this tag team match, like I said, that harkens back to the days when the Wyatts were feuding with the Shield. Now, what I find interesting here is that in the last few weeks, I mean, a lot has been built up, courtesy of Dean Ambrose, about how much of a family he and Roman Reigns are, okay? That they're closest brothers, that, okay, they like to go out, like the loser buys the drinks. We see a lot of camaraderie. We see a lot of brotherhood there. However, they just don't seem to be the same kind of unified front that we've seen in the likes of Wyatt and Harper. And I think that's going to play into this match here. Now, I mean, rumors has it that they're approaching the idea of either Reigns or Ambrose turning heel on the other. Now, I don't think it's going to happen here at SummerSlam. I think this is going to be something of a slow burn right here. I expect there to be some sort of miscommunication between Reigns and Ambrose. I expect that'll lead in to the Wyatts picking up the win here at SummerSlam. And then it seems like, it'll be on and off. Okay, one week Reigns and Ambrose are fine. The next week, it doesn't seem like they have each other's backs. Like, again, it goes on and off, on and off. And then eventually in 2 months, it seems like we have everything come full circle. We have Ambrose and Reigns take on Harper and Wyatt in a tag team Hell in a Cell match. Kind of where it all started, ironically enough, with Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. Where Reigns, just after an errant steel chair shot or something or other from Ambrose, goes postal on him, beats him up, and leaves him to the proverbial wolves in Harper and Wyatt, and then said, okay, my brother was holding me back, I don't need him. And then Reigns turns into the power-hungry powerhouse that we come to expect from him, and we see sort of an attitude change in Reigns, which frankly I think will be for the better. I mean, like I said, that's my whole big take on this. Long story short, I'm going with the Wyatt family to take the win here, and the start of the dissension between Reigns and Ambrose.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks for that old sound clip right there. Where'd you get that from? A Mac computer? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Dorrington, what's your take on this Shield versus Wyatt family reunion?
Well, I think it's the original rumors were kind of interesting, where Sting was actually going to be supposedly on the same team as Ambrose and Reigns. And these were credible rumors, Ken. These aren't just regular dirt sheets things. I heard these from some credible people. So I'm expecting, I'm thinking, maybe there's some interference from Sting in this match. Also could happen in the main event, but it wouldn't be surprising to see, a Sting Wyatt family feud. I don't know. They're both kind of dark. I don't know. Either way, I think something funny is going to happen in this match. But I think Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are going to take this one.
Okay, I mean, I understand the rumors of Sting getting involved, but I mean, those have long since passed. I mean, it's very clear he's not going to be involved in this feud now. Right? Okay.
No, I know that he's not going to be involved in this match. But he was originally supposed to be like a 3-man match.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, supposedly, we heard the rumors of supposedly Adam Rose reverting to his Leo Kruger persona and join the Wyatt family. Supposedly, they could see if Eric Rowan can come back early from his bicep injury.
Nah, he's gonna be out longer.
No, yeah, he's gonna be out, like I said, until the end of the year. I mean, we heard several rumors throughout the last few weeks, but I think ultimately, okay, it's just like I said, it's just gonna boil down to whichever team's more of a unified front. And I think that's going to be the Wyatt family. That's why I think they're going to come out on top. It'll be a close, hard-hitting match. There's no doubt about that. But I just think, okay, the Wyatt family will be the ones coming out on top here. I mean, and it'll just be the case where Reigns comes that close to getting one over on Bray Wyatt, but just can never seem to find that proverbial edge of sorts. I think that's the sort of frustration that will boil over into him turning on Ambrose, or it could be either or. You never know. All right, Mr. Greg Dolan, what's your birthday?
Well, I think
pick
the
for this
first
one?
things first. I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward match. I don't think there's really going to be any funny business involved. I think they're just going to come out and wrestle. But I think that it's important that they do their own thing. That they don't have this unified front. That they really get chaotic about it. And during my research, I found that Bray Wyatt's birthday is May 23rd, while Roman Reigns is May 25th, which puts him 2 days closer to the winter or the summer solstice rather. So I think that little bit of extra power is going to get him from a 1 count to a 3 count, and I think Reigns and Ambrose are going to win without the help of Sting.
This is amazing research he's been doing. Let's give a big hand. Mr. Dolan.
Wow.
Wow.
Oops. Oh no.
Somebody tells me Greg shouldn't have had that 3-bean salad.
You better start talking. This will go on for days.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We come to the second main event match, which is more or less a unification match of sorts. Winner takes all. WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins versus United States Champion John Cena. Now, this match came when Rollins was bragging about his latest title defense against Lesnar, only for Cena to come out and call out Rollins on all his bunk, how he really hasn't had a solid defense outside of his ladder match with Dean Ambrose. Really, he's had to be helped, he has to be assisted, he's had to have authority pulling strings for Rollins to get by anywhere. Of course, the argument can be made, okay, you're a champion, you do what you have to do, or in Cena's case, you come in, you fight every night and put your title on the line because you want to and want to be the best champion you can be. Of course, we've had that dichotomy. We've had Rollins, the chicken crap heel, as the WWE World Champion. We've had Cena, the upstanding moral Superman of the WWE, as United States Champion. How apropos. Now, of course, we've seen these two face off several times in the last couple of years. We, of course, know these two can put on an excellent match, whether it's versus each other, triple threat match, fatal four-ways, tag team matches. We know these two can go. However, the stakes here are much more interesting because whoever wins this isn't a unified champion per se, but holds both the WWE World title and United States Championship. Now, for those who watch a lot of the independent wrestling, such as Ring Ring of Honor television in particular. In Ring of Honor, they have of course, they have the TV champion, or also known as the Pure
They have the
Champion,
Kingdom with Matt Taven.
and the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. That ended up being Jay Lethal versus Jay Briscoe to hold both championships, and Jay Lethal ended up winning the match and becoming both the TV champion and ROH heavyweight champion of the world. Now, of course, that's what WWE is doing here. They're looking to have one of these men hold both belts. Now, again, Cena brought up an interesting point this past Monday on Raw. Of course, we all know that the record number of titles held has been Ric Flair with 16 World Heavyweight Championships. And Cena, of course, made the point, okay, the reason he had all this merchandise designed for, like, being the 15-time champion was he was never expecting to get another opportunity, and yet here it is. He has the chance to make history and tie Flair for the record, becoming a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. Now, of course, as we all know, if you know your wrestling lore, Ric Flair was not only one of Triple H's best friends, he was also his mentor, and now we have Triple H mentoring the WWE World Champion, Seth Rollins. So, there's really a lot on the line, not only for Rollins, but Triple H as well. If Rollins wins, it cements not only his legacy, but that of Triple H and Ric Flair. If Cena wins, he cements his legacy as possibly the greatest world champion of all time, tying Flair's record and essentially making a mockery of not only Rollins but Triple H and Flair as well. Rollins will have to walk back and look Triple H in the eye and say that he let him and Ric Flair down, and McMahon's and everyone else. That's what I think is interesting here, how the whole dichotomy here is played out. And it begs the question, who really benefits coming out on top here? Obviously, Cena benefits coming out as a 16-time world champion. But on the same hand, okay, Rollins needs a defining moment to his championship reign. He hasn't really had that yet. He did have the one solid victory over Ambrose at Money in the Bank. But again, he hasn't had that true defining victory over an opponent, like an established main eventer like John Cena, on his own. If he gets that, okay, then all the doubts will be erased, and Rollins will then finally be seen as a true, credible World Heavyweight Champion. If Cena wins, he ties Flair for the record, and Rollins ends up, like Cena said, just a footnote in wrestling history. Rollins' reign will be mostly forgotten. Okay, like I said, Rollins can be, like I said, a chicken crap heel, okay? But he needs to be booked more properly than how he's been in recent months. Edge was the most chicken of heel champions, yet he ended up becoming, what, a 11-time world champion because he was cool about it, because he had all sorts of different tactics for staying on top as world champion. Rollins has just had to rely on the authority. He hasn't relied on other outside tactics to keep his championship. We need to see something different from Rollins in this match, and that's why I'm going with Rollins. He is my lock of the night. All right, Brian, lay it on me. What's your pick?
Well, I see it the opposite way. I think Rollins is a great champ. I love him as a champ, but, I've heard rumors, again, these are just rumors, but that Rollins isn't selling. John Cena sells. That's who people want to see the belt on, and they want to see him be the best to get all the accolades. They want to see him tie and eventually beat Ric Flair's record. And he's in the prime of his career right now. He doesn't have, too many years left. I think he's, 36 maybe? 37? This is the time to put the belt on him again. And he's going to lose it somewhere down the line and end up breaking Ric Flair's record. But putting the belt on Cena at a big pay-per-view, 4 hours long, that's what's best for business, okay? They're the best. They make the most money when John Cena has the belt. With that said, I think this is going to be a long-term feud. I think it's probably going to extend the next 3 pay-per-views. So if Rollins loses here, he'll definitely get a rematch, for the heavyweight championship belt, and then maybe he wins at Night of Champions or whatever. But anyway, I think that Cena is going to win the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, the belt on John Cena. That's WWE. That's best for business. John Cena, lock of the night.
Never thought I'd hear you telling the company line there, Brian. Oh, okay. All right. Greg?
Hey, I wasn't saying I agreed with it, or that's what I wanted, by the way.
All right.
I'd like to see Rollins win.
All right. With it.
All right.
What-
I really
what do
like
you
to
say?
see John Cena win, but I think Rollins being the champ, so it's good for the company, and I think this is going to be the end of this feud. Plus, he was born on May 28th, which is closer to the solstice, and John Cena's birthday on April 23rd. So I think that Rollins is going to win. Stock prices are going to go through the roof. The kids are going to be happy. John Cena is going to retire. He's out of his prime, and we're going to move on.
I'm loving the whole opposite day logic we got going here. I like that. I really, really, really like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, and by the way, Brian, Triple H called. Next time, put more cream in his coffee. Okay.
Hey, now that's a low blow. Don't get angry at me.
I'm just.
Oh, yeah!
Okay, so now we come to what's supposedly the main event of the night. A match too big for WrestleMania. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Now, this all came about at WWE Battlegrounds, where Lesnar was obviously closing in on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, only for Taker to make his return out of nowhere, low-blowing, choke-slamming, and tombstoning Lesnar out of World Championship contention. Now, these two have been at each other tooth and nail since then, and obviously a match had to be made. Taker wanted his vengeance. He wanted Lesnar. He got Lesnar. He begged for the match. He got the match. Now, my problem with this is, okay, we've seen Taker's last two matches. Earlier this year with Bray Wyatt, which was not good. Not only because of Wyatt's ankle injury, which certainly hampered his ability in the ring, but just the fact that Taker was moving, he was shambling, he was limping. The years are obviously taking their toll on him. I mean, it's just, it boggles my mind, okay, why they're doing this match. I get it. They need a big money, they need a marquee match. They need like a big money match first to cap off SummerSlam. I totally get that. But you could put anyone against Lesnar, and I guarantee with Heyman's words, they could be made to build up to be a credible big money opponent for Lesnar. Okay, with Taker, I mean, here's the problem with this. If Taker wins, all the build-up they've done for Lesnar, who's been one of the best built-up superstars of 2014 to 2015, all for naught. Okay, the guy's been on a winning streak since 2013. Okay, if he loses here to Taker, who's in his 50s, I mean, what does that say about WWE? That not only do they have to rely on someone like John Cena when they want to go run and hide from the stockbrokers, but that they have to rely on someone like Taker, who is well past his prime and hasn't put on a good match in the last 2 years. I'm sorry, but this match is a no-brainer for me. I'm going with Brock Lesnar. I know logic says Taker's going to win this. Supposedly he needs this, but I don't care. I'm going with Lesnar to win this. I imagine that Sting will make his presence somewhere in this match, and we'll have the eventual build-up to Sting versus Taker for WrestleMania next year in Houston, where Taker will finally get his proper send-off. Like I said, Lesnar for the win. Like I said, this is a no-brainer. I don't see this match going very long. All right, Brian, main event time. What's your pick?
I'm going with Lesnar too, and I don't know. Do you feel like they're making Taker a little bit of a heel on this one after the two low blows on Raw? You know, he didn't get a good crowd response, man.
Well,
in Lesnarville, but still.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, you're in Lesnarville, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
But the two low blows that rubbed me the wrong way too. That's a little cheap shot.
Exactly. I don't think WWE knows exactly what they're going for here.
No,
I imagine. I mean, Taker's consumed with revenge, which I think is what's going to bring Sting into this. That Taker is not the same. Get the Big Show off of there. I think that's what's going to bring Sting into this. That okay, this is not the same Taker that we know and come to respect and love. He's become consumed by revenge. He's not the same. He's not the same dead man. And Sting wants that dead man for WrestleMania. He wants one last great match of Taker, and that's where I think it'll come in for the slow build-up to WrestleMania, eventually capping off with, like I said, what's more or less going to be Taker's retirement match.
Yeah, and so far Taker's gotten the best of this feud. So I mean, he's jumped Lesnar a few times. That means Lesnar's due for a victory here. Because I mean, there's no way that.
I know.
What? Oh, you're not talking to me. Sorry. Yeah. So there's no way that Lesnar loses this match, and I actually think the Undertaker might end up in the emergency room again. I mean, he looks better than last time. I'll give it to him, but taking so many of those German suplexes on a 50-year-old guy, man, I think he's actually going to get hurt in that ring. So I'm going to go with Lesnar on that one.
Okay. Now, typically this... Oh, sorry. Sorry. I almost forgot Mr. Dolan right there.
All right, short and sweet because we're over time. I'm going to say Lesnar wins because his birthday is closer to the solstice in July versus The Undertaker in March, and that no one will get hurt. Everyone will be happy.
Okay.
Go team.
Now, like I said, we are running a little over time, so I'll make this short and sweet. We decided to, because WWE's boosting SummerSlam to 4 hours, they're making this as big as WrestleMania. We need to go a little bigger here too. So I'm throwing something special into the mix here. We're going to have a special attraction match, what I call the NXT Takedown. Of course, we all know about the NXT Takeover special in Brooklyn this coming Saturday, culminating with the main event, ladder match for the NXT World Championship, Kevin Owens versus the champion, Finn Balor. Now, in this match, we're going to make a special prediction, and if you're correct, obviously if you're wrong, you get no points. But if you are correct, you get an extra 2 points added to your score for the pay-per-preview. Now, in that case, I mean, I agree with the sentiment brought up by Brian earlier. I believe that Owens will come out on top in this match. He'll win the NXT title, and then he'll be like, they'll have some storyline injury, or he'll be just exhausted from the previous night to properly battle Cesaro, and Cesaro will get the win over Owens then. So I'm going with Owens to win back the NXT Championship.
All right, we'll keep this rolling because we're over time. I'm going with Owens.
Going with Owens. All right, Greg, lay it on us. This is 2 points at stake. And no,
So
the Big
I'm
Show.
gonna go
And
with,
no, the Big Show's not involved.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Finn Balor because I remember the last time I saw him, he beat Jesse Ventura as well as Carl Weathers before finally being taken down by Arnold Schwarzenegger after he covered himself in mud. I believe I have this picture of him, if you remember him from this movie.
Yeah, that's the Predator.
He thinks he's the Predator.
So I'm going to
Yeah,
go with
great, yeah.
Finn Predator Balor.
Okay. Predator, Finn Balor. Okay. All right. So anyway, like I said, we are running a little over time. That is all for our pay-per-preview for the epic party of the summer, SummerSlam 2015. All right. Like I said, if you have any suggestions, wrestlingconnection@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on our Facebook this coming Sunday, facebook.com/The Wrestling Connection, where we'll be posting all of our we'll be doing live coverage of the pay-per-view and going over all of our picks and analysis. And we'll also you can also look us up on Twitter @WConnection, and you can also check out our current and past videos on our YouTube channel, The Wrestling Connection, including our 1 year special, which is always a very entertaining watch in my book. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, enjoy SummerSlam. We look forward to a action-packed night. We're going 4 hours. We're going whole hog here. So get the shrimp on the barbie. Let's get all fired up for SummerSlam. You all have a good weekend. I hope to see you on Sunday, and by next week you'll be looking at the new 5-time WK King of Pay-Per-View champion. And as always, be connected, get connected, stay connected. You have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be.
Someday we'll find it, the wrestling connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.